Look at my eyes. Jeez. Okay, finally I can record. I was just like, there's so much stuff going on. I set up all my lights, I was ready to record, and then I remembered I didn't do any research for the actual video. So I had to sit down for a little bit, found my research, and then I started to record this, and I forgot that I left the memory chip in the computer, so I had to go and take off my lights because they were covering the door and get the memory chip. But finally, we are here recording, and I have another episode of This is the News. So today I'm going to be telling you just positive stories. They're not any specific theme, but yeah, let's get started. So as you know, many of us remember our kindergarten teacher. I don't really know what grade you're in if you're not even in a grade, but you know your kindergarten teacher. You remember them well, and they probably remember you too, unless they're like super old. No offense to anybody. So one time a kindergarten teacher was watching TV. She had retired, and she recognized one of the reporters as one of her students from 30 years ago. Okay, she has some really good memory. I mean, seriously, 30 years? So she sent a letter to the reporter. I don't really know how she got his contact information. So she sent him a note, and the reporter set up a meeting to talk to her. And I think that's pretty bold, because you don't know if she was just some crazy freak. But yeah, he brought a box of things from 30 years ago, and they started looking through it and talking. So that's how that story went. So the next one is about dads and how they're awesome. Now you see there's just this anonymous picture, but there's no story behind it. But it's a dad who's holding an umbrella over his son who's young. He looks like 5 or 6. And he's just getting completely soaked in his work clothes while he's just holding an umbrella over his son. His son is completely dry. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Sorry for the lack of, news. So here's another kindergarten story. This one's about a kid with autism, and his teacher did something to help him in school, you know? So let's get to it. So you know, school can be really hard with those kids with autism. They can't get along with anybody. They've got the social issues, and they oftentimes get picked on. So this kid, he was experiencing meltdowns and anxiety issues, you know, panic attacks before he even got into the car for kindergarten. She had to hold his hand the whole way to the classroom, and then she had to calm him down for about 10 to 20 minutes just so he would sit with the rest of the class, and then the whole day he would just bawl his eyes out. It's pretty intense, right? And then when he got home each day on top of the class, he would just start crying hour after hours after hours, and it would just be so insane, right? For lunch, she had to go with him every single day at school. She had to be sitting next to him. You know, it gave her a chance to calm him down and tell him what he should be looking forward to the day. And it also gave her mom power ability to detect if something was going wrong, like if he was getting picked on. I don't know, you know, just detect what was going wrong with him so she could try and help. He seemed to get along with his classmates pretty well, but she still couldn't find any behavioral therapists in our area, you know? But then when she finally found, she was very excited. Basically what I just said, because I probably blurted that out really fast. She found a behavioral therapist, and she was very happy because she could help her son with autism, right? So the therapist thought he was working on his emotions, so he would save up all this emotions for home, and then he would literally blow up at home. But he would hold it all in at school. And I mean, it made sense, because he's more comfortable at home than school. So over the next few months, she tried everything to help him with the anxiety. She bought weighted blankets, vests, abundance of toys, even medication. So after Christmas break, she was surprised to see him come back home with a smile on his face. Now, she didn't really say anything about it, because she thought, oh, well, maybe it's just, you know, normal, he's having a good time. The therapist was working. She didn't really question it until a couple weeks later when he started talking about an interaction with the teacher. Then one day when she brought him to school, he had a little swag with his step. So he was feeling a little more confident. Then when they passed a classroom, one of his teachers, I guess was named Mr. T, he gave him a big ol' high five. So every single day he would pass Mr. T, give him a big ol' high five, and keep on walking with his mom and do their slow breathing exercises to help him calm down a little bit. Then he started giving Mr. T hugs and high fives at the same time. So every day, slowly and more slowly, these high fives were the cure to his anxiety. And she didn't need her to help him day after day. You know, it was baby steps, but baby steps are big steps for those kids. So, I mean, just remember, being kind to somebody can really help them, because he's young and it'll affect his whole entire life. Because think about it, without that high five, without that teacher cheering him up, he might not be where he is today. So, wow, I cannot talk today. So those were the heartwarming stories for today's episode of This Is the News. Oh my goodness, now I have the hiccups. Oh man, this is a good time to end the video because I'm just about to blow up. Congrats if you made it this far. If you did, congratulate yourself and congratulate me for making that good of a video, right? No. And go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you made it to here, even more congratulations, and you want to celebrate even more by hitting that subscribe button, right? Oh, and also eventually I'll add a green screen, but I've been having a little technical issues. I tried last video to add a green screen effect to it, but it didn't really work out. It looked a little something like this. So, yeah, you could probably see it didn't go very well. And last thing, if you made it to this video, there is still one more thing you can do to congratulate yourself and me, and that is watch my other videos. Oh boy.